Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are all mourning the loss of the legendary, the great Stan the Man Lee, who passed away just today. So I definitely felt like I need to pay my respects to the man that was so much of a huge part of my childhood growing up. I remember when my father bought me my first comic book, and that comic book happened to be Spider-Man, And Spider-Man was, of course, co-created by Stan Lee, the flagship character of Marvel Comics. I mean, what would Marvel Comics be without Stan Lee? Nothing, And we wouldn't have the huge, massive success of the Marvel movies that we have today based on half of those characters he created, or co-created. We wouldn't have those hilarious cameos that he does in every single Marvel movie, So funny, so memorable. He just created so many fond memories of my childhood, reading those incredible stories from those incredible comic books. Spider-Man, Iron Man, created the Incredible Hulk, created a lot of the X-Men, the original X-Men. What more can you say? I mean, that hasn't been said already. So I was privileged enough to meet Stan the Man Lee a couple years ago at the Comic-Con in Boston. So thrilled that I finally did get a chance to meet him, and I did get his autograph. So I just wanted to show off a few things. Spider-Man's my absolute favorite comic book character of all time. So that's a huge deal for me. Just every single week I would go and buy the newest Spider-Man comic, whether it be Peter Parker's Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Annual, or just plain Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, There's so many of them. And I wanted all of them, because I absolutely love the stories. Spider-Man is a character that I could just relate to so much, Spider-Man is a guy that was, down on his luck, always struggling money-wise, struggling with the girls, struggling with the money, and he was he realized how hard it was to, you can't save everybody, but he did everything he possibly could to not only stop the villain, but save everyone that the villain is trying to kill, and save all the damage that the villain is trying to create. That's one of the things I loved about him, Of course, the Incredible Avengers movies. Wouldn't have those if it wasn't for Stan Lee, that's for sure. Iron Man, of course. X-Men. The Mighty Thor. And here we have it. There is Stan Lee's autograph, one of my prized possessions, and this is one of his original Avengers stories. This one here was written by Stan Lee. So such an honor to have his autograph. I'm so excited I was able to do that, and that I was able to meet him in person. Such a genius, an absolute genius of comic books. I mean, he's the ultimate figure when it comes to comic books, at least for Marvel Comics anyway. I'd say comics in general, he's the biggest, celebrity that everybody knows in dealing with comic books. Stan the Man Lee. Yeah, I always found as a child comics to be such a great escape, reading these wonderful adventures of superheroes and supervillains. It's just a great escape from the everyday, mundane life that we live. Uh, like, I didn't care what was going on in my life. I just wanted to lose myself in the comic books, the wonderful, wonderful world of comic books and superhero comics. But at any rate, I feel like I needed to say that, get that out, and pay my respects to the legendary, the great Stan the Man Lee. So rest in peace, brother. We will all miss you. Such a devastating loss for the comic world, and the world in general. You were a great man, a genius, brilliant. Thank you so much for all you gave to us, and all you gave to my childhood. And in signing off, I'm going to say, Excelsior! Thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Sci-Fi Corner.